This episode of MMA Nuts is brought to you by Freshly, chef-cooked healthy meals delivered to your door. Save $40 off the first 4 weeks with code MMA40. J&P Cycles, the best aftermarket parts and accessories for your motorcycle. Save up to 30% off with code MMAN. Vitamin World, nutrition starts at the source. Get 10% off with code MMA Nuts. Senate Stay, save up to 40% off any length of stay at participating hotels through 4/30/2018 with code MMANTS. Defense Soap, the ultimate soap for wrestlers, jiu-jitsu, and MMA athletes with the new peppermint oil bars and shower gel. Use code MMA Nuts for 15% off. Hey fam, this is MMA Nuts, episode 377.
377!
My name is Ingo Weigel.
Matt Greth, MMA Show. By my fans, for our fans, we're locked line between serious and ridiculous. What's happening?
Not much. What's happening with you, sir?
How was work on Friday?
Oh, geez. You may bring this up right away. I had food poisoning a couple days ago.
Is that bad?
The worst case of food poisoning ever. Dry heaving under my desk in the bucket.
You're kind of like the guy from Silicon Valley, if you watch that show.
Yes, just puking, but I hadn't eaten anything because I'm doing that intermittent fasting, so I was just like convulsing, and every time I would lift my head, the room was just spinning.
That's bad.
Bad. Like I had vertigo, and then at some point I was like, uh-oh, it's coming out the other end, and I'm like, emergency.
Uh-oh.
So I started crawling to the bathroom with this bucket, and I think people must think I'm crazy. I'm afraid to go back to work on Monday. Because I went in the bathroom and I puked and shit in my pants in there, and then I passed out on the floor in there for a couple hours, and then I went home.
You got to go back in with 2 black eyes.
I don't know. Maybe he's doing some work.
I'm just saying.
Look how happy he looks. He's like, let me hit you in the face.
I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, the one thing I hate doing more than anything is throwing up. So I try never to throw up. And I feel like my body was fighting throwing up, and that made everything worse because my whole torso the last 2 days is just like, it's painful. Like when I breathe, I feel like I did damage internally. You know what I mean?
I know what that's about. I felt the same thing when I had my bout of food poisoning. And everything's super aggressive, and you feel like you're tearing stuff, and you don't know if it's coming out one way or the other. Like,
oh no!
Let me just be done with this ride. I want to be done.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you're at work, so it's even worse. Or you can't just.
Yeah, I remember my boss talking about something about immediate care, and I'm like, I can't even sit straight. I can't see anything. I lift my head up, and it's like, whoa, and it wasn't slow either. It was like,
oh, Jesus.
It was the worst. I thought I was dying. So you start to question like life in that moment. You go, is this the end? Like, is this how it's gonna happen? I'm gonna shit my intestines out and be dead at work. That's right, at my desk, but. I'm sort of better now. I'm nursing a beer here, which is hitting me pretty hard. So, yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. How are you, Matt?
Phenomenal. So, we weren't here last week. Took a week off for Easter.
Yes.
And then this week, fucking all hell breaks loose, right? So you had... let's just start with Conor McGregor, and then we'll talk about all the other shit. So, he tweets out on April 2nd, because Tony Ferguson... apparently had injured himself doing some media obligations for the UFC. He tripped over a cable at Fox, blows out his LCL, so he's out of the fight.
Whoa.
And Conor tweets out, "These fools pull out more times than I do with my dick." That's April 2nd.
Nice.
April 5th, he tweets out, "You'll strip me of nothing, you do nothing, cunt." He's being very aggressive, so... like, wow, they're setting the tone. They're like, okay, drugs are good, I guess. And then during this week, we see Artem Lobov, who's on the card, and Khabib Nurmagomedov and his crew just encircle the guy, and he's got his hand like behind his neck and pulling him in, talking shit, like, oh, here you talk shit, I talk shit through face, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not talking shit, but again, like, why do you have to bring 50 of your guys here to confront him? You could just walk over one-on-one to confront the guy if you got an issue.
That's the style.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And then I guess Conor McGregor doesn't take too kindly to that. So he posses up with a bunch of people, charters a flight from Ireland, comes in, and the Mac Life media crew let him in the Barclays Center. At this point, all the red corner fighters are on the bus, getting ready to head out. And Conor is like, fuck this. He goes and runs over, grabs a dolly, hucks it at the bus, shatters a window. And I'm not sure who else was throwing stuff, but the windshield of the bus gets broken, and it's kind of weird because the security, like if you see Conor picking up something, it's pretty much a given he's gonna throw it. So I don't know why these fuckers aren't tackling him.
They didn't do much.
They didn't do. They're just like, no. don't. So
yeah,
I'll put that off to the side. I'm not gonna digress on that conspiracy theory.
Michael Chiesa was sitting in that seat.
He got fucked up.
Yeah,
apparently. So he gets cut. Ray Borg takes some shrapnel in the eye. Rose Namajunas is shook.
She's emotionally scarred.
And so the Chiesa fight versus Anthony Pettis gets scrapped. Ray Borg versus, forgot who he was fighting, scrapped. And then the Artem Lobov fight gets scrapped because he was part of the fracas. So in the span of like 30 seconds, Conor McGregor has just fucking wrecking balled, you know, all these fucking people and their lives and whatever's going to happen with that. And then Reed Harris, who's the UFC VP of athlete development, he was on the bus. He tweets this one out. He says, "At the hospital with one of my coworkers, possible broken hand due to attack by Conor and his gang of thugs. I got cut and showered with glass. We thought we were going to die."
Slightly dramatic.
You might want to check in your pants and see if you have a pussy or a cock and a set of balls, because you sure smell like pussy right now.
Yeah, it's a little over the top. I mean, I get it was probably scary, but
so scary because he's throwing shit at the bus.
Well, you don't know what's gonna happen, but you know, I'm kind of confused about this whole thing. Like, there has to be drugs involved. Nobody in their right mind is gonna fly from fucking Ireland. I mean, with a bunch of thugs and then bust into the Barclays Center and then cause all this mayhem. And I mean, you would have thought he learned his lesson after the whole Monster Energy throwing thing, you know, back, what, was it 2 years ago, a year ago? I forgot when that was exactly.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. And then now he's picking up bigger objects and throwing them. But I mean, the whole thing, it just looks, it's highly suspect of someone who's not of rational and sound mind, right?
Yes.
I mean, because this has to be, he's got to be on some drugs. I know nothing else to me makes sense. I mean, he's not a stupid guy. I mean, he would know that he can't bust into some place, even if it wasn't related to UFC, and start, like, you know, vandalizing the whole time. You can't do that. It's not okay.
No. And the police didn't take kindly to this. So he gets arrested and then posts like a $50,000 bond. He gets charged with, I think this is according to CNN, 3 counts of criminal mischief, 2 counts of assault, 1 count of attempted assault, 5 counts of menacing, and 1 count of reckless endangerment. And they said 2 of the criminal mischief charges are felonies. And I want to say it's sometime in June that he's got a hearing scheduled to take care of all this shit. But, you know, I was saying the wrecking ball thing, and a couple of cool things I saw that come out of this. Like, someone made this poster of, like, Conor swinging in. Like, I got that wrecking ball.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm like, oh, they missed the opportunity. If he's got panties on, they got to be red panties. And go, I ain't letting that shit fly.
Nice. Did you make that yourself?
Well, I made the red panties, not the
That's awesome.
other poster.
They do have to be red panties.
And then the other nice thing is Conor is coming out of jail, and he's got the handcuffs behind his back. Someone yells out, "The double champ does whatever the fuck he wants." Like, what? No, he doesn't. He's in fucking handcuffs. Yeah. He's in jail.
Right.
He doesn't do whatever the fuck he wants. And then the last thing that people were joking about, they're like, God damn it, the only thing that Conor McGregor defends in the UFC is goddamn Artem Lobov.
Right.
Like, not 2 belts or whatever. So, like, after all this is said and done, so, you know, what do you think is going to happen punishment-wise to Conor McGregor? Let's start from the police/judicial system and say from all that.
Financial, it'll be strictly financial. I doubt he does any jail time or any of that stuff. If he does anything, it'll be something like giving speeches or on violence, or I don't know. I don't see him serving any jail time. But I think he's going to definitely have some fines to deal with. That's a lot of charges he has on. I mean, some things will probably get dropped or reduced. My guess is it'll be a couple $100,000 he's going to have to pay and some fines, and maybe some community service type stuff. From the UFC, I think Dana White talks a big game, but this is probably the most exciting thing that's happened in the last 2 years.
Well, since the last incident, right? It's a challenge because if I'm Well, from a police standpoint, it's been seen time and time again. The people that have money will do no jail time.
Right.
He'll do no jail time. He'll pay a huge fine. He'll do some community service, and they'll probably make him do like the Nevada State Athletic Commission was trying to get him to do some sort of public service announcement.
Yes.
Like, drugs are bad, okay? Don't do them.
That's right.
And then as far as the UFC, you know, this is where I'm kind of leaning to. I almost think that like the fix is in on all this bullshit, because you kind of want Conor McGregor's going to get stripped of his belt. So how do you get Conor stripped of his belt where it looks like a win-win? So you have Conor come there and cause a ruckus and throw some shit at a bus. Oh, now we can legitimately take your title away, right?
You think he did this on purpose?
Yeah. I think this is all premeditated.
Wow.
Because you got to get the belt away from him. And a little side fact is, why does Tony Ferguson, who only got injured, why does he get the interim belt stripped from him in the process too?
I don't know.
I don't understand. So Conor, I'm not quite sure why he got stripped, just because of inactivity.
Yeah, I think so.
But he's off boxing for them and making them hundreds of millions of dollars. So
but he's
that's not cool.
MMAing, Matt.
Got MMA all the time?
Got MMA all day.
MMA all day?
All day.
So that's weird. But, and then I got a question, like, the legitimacy of these belts now. So you're going to have fucking,
Oh.
I take issue with this Nurmagomedov versus fucking Iaquinta. So he's number 11 ranked, Iaquinta. Why couldn't they just fight a five round title fight? Not a title fight, but a 5-round main event. Why did it have to be for the title? Because now you're telling me the belts are bullshit. Because even Iaquinta weighed in at 155.2, and the UFC said that if Iaquinta wins, we're going to make him the champ. And in the New York State Athletic Commission said they will not recognize Iaquinta as a champion, but they don't have any power over the UFC to tell them that they can not make him the champ. If they want to make him the champ, they can do it.
Interesting.
So belts are basically just an award to anyone the UFC wants to give out.
It seems to be that way.
So they're the WWE now, then.
Well,
this all seems very WWE-ish, no?
It's pretty staged, but I just, you know, the story does seem pretty far-fetched. But I don't know, like Dana seemed genuinely pissed off. It's hard for me to read that guy sometimes. I didn't get the sense that he was acting. Like, I thought he was genuinely like, what the fuck? But at the same time, you know, I don't know. Like, maybe it is all staged. Wouldn't that be something? A more important question is who do you think fucked up a UFC card worse? Jon Jones when he refused to fight, or Conor McGregor?
Well, Jon Jones, because the card got canceled.
Okay. So
like, I'm looking at the poster,
yeah.
UFC 151. Jon Jones versus Dan Henderson. Henderson injured. Chael Sonnen is supposed to step in.
Jones says nope.
No, fuck that. I need a full training camp. So in that aspect, that's where you got to credit a guy like Nurmagomedov, right or wrong, for having a title fight. But
yeah.
He's like, fuck it. Whoever you want to have fight me, I'll fight. But again, what are the options? His options were Pettis. Is everybody at 155. And I guess I want to put that off for a second because I want to go back to McGregor and talk about fineage. Like, for the fines, like when it's all said and done, what do you think Conor's going to have to pay out?
$250,000
to every. Well, think about all the lawsuits.
Oh, the lawsuits
and fines, like all in. I can give you some guidelines if you want. BetDSI has some odds on fines.
Let's see.
So they're going, the total dollars the New York incident will cost Conor McGregor, including state fines, athletic commission fines, UFC fines, all court awarded civil and criminal damages under $50,000. It's like plus 1,500, 50,000 to 100,000 plus 1,000, 101,000 to 250,000. You're plus 850. 251,000 to 700,000 plus 500. 701,000 to 1.5 million plus 250. That's where the sweet spot is for them. 1.51 million to 3 million is plus 350. Over 3 million plus 600. No damages to pay or no fines plus 10,000.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I retract my statement then. I would say overall, between all the bullshit, probably about $1 million is my guess.
Yeah, I'm going about 2. I think 2 when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Because I think each fighter, like Chiesa and Borg, I think they're getting $250 a pop, if not
probably
more.
Get some cash, yeah.
and then think about all the other people that are on the bus. Because didn't Eddie Murphy say when he did his Raw special that he was involved in a fight and that he didn't even start, he was just there, and then fucking everybody in the club sued him. Yes. So like the security guards, like people, old ladies across the street, they're watering the flowers, someone walking their dog, fucking everybody sues him.
Trauma.
Yeah, so like the whole Barclays Center could sue him, and
they could.
You know, the bus drivers
could sue Conor McGregor for fucking up the card.
Right. Like and the UFC could technically, but they won't.
No. We love when this stuff happens because it gives us something to talk about. So we won't sue him.
No.
Not now, anyways.
But is this good or bad for the sport? Like this Conor McGregor issue, because it's hard, right?
I think this is the most excitement we've had in MMA in a long time. So it's not. I'm a believer in no such thing as bad press. Right. Now, is it the image that the sport wants to portray? Probably not. But at the same time, it's pretty fucking exciting. So I would say it's good for the sport overall. Unfortunately, especially that poster is cracking me up.
Yeah, I'm leaning into it. I think it's good for the sport just because of the amount of press, and I'm kind of surprised that the UFC actually put this in the embedded show, like the 5th embedded show.
Did they?
And they posted that online on YouTube, and that episode got the most views out of all the other ones.
I'm sure.
It got 3.8 million views as of today.
Wow.
The next highest one, I think, was the number 2 show, had 1.2 or 1.3 million views.
Wow.
But that goes to show how much interest there was in this. And I'm sure Conor McGregor was probably the number 1 thing trending on Twitter and probably on Google, you name it. It's fucking crazy. But then how do you feel about Conor McGregor now? Like,
I always thought he was nuts. I feel fine. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a crew in the UFC overall that is like has a thug mentality, and I think that if you're gonna play that game, this is the kind of shit that's gonna happen. You know, Nurmagomedov, you got the Diaz brothers, McGregor. This is the stuff. It's a bunch of barking pit bulls, and eventually somebody's gonna try to bite the other.
Someone's gonna pull out a knife.
It's just gonna happen. So and if it's not Conor, it's somebody else, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's necessarily a good image, but it's damn entertaining. And I mean, nobody got seriously injured, so I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm happy about this. I like this in some ways. Call me vain.
I hear you. I'd say, like, personally, I think McGregor's a spoiled brat millionaire. You know,
probably.
Like he's not getting his way or whatever, and it's probably the Lobov thing. You know, he's just trying to stick up for his friend, but it's a weird way to do it.
Well, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Well, I'm surprised. I wonder if they drug test him in jail.
Maybe.
You probably have to submit to that, but you don't.
You could be on coke. This is very cokish behavior. This is like off the go. Fuck it, we're going to the United States. Get on the plane.
Yeah.
Gonna kick the door in and break everything. I don't know. Whatever. Conspiracy theory. We'll see.
And then, what do you think suspension wise for McGregor?
6 months. He'll fight before
time served.
He'll fight.
He's already been out for a month and a half.
Before the end of the year. I think this will be the UFC's leverage actually to get him to fight a big fight again, because he's gonna need to. And if he's smart, he would capitalize. He's in the press like this, like crazy. This is a good time to set up a fight because he's in the news already. It's all a game. Like, you think about it. You know, you're in the press everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Now is a good time to make a fight. Sometime in the late summer, early fall. Perfect. You know, people are crazy about McGregor. You're either going to love or hate him, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to sell.
And it was weird that initially Dana White was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. He's on drugs and this and that. And then it got to the point where Dana said, things go a lot worse in other sports. I'll take a dolly through the window any day.
You said that?
Yeah. Like, because the event went off without any hitches, I think, and they set the Barclays Center for the highest gate at, I think it was 3 million, so beating their own record of like 2 for the last time they were there. So I think he gets more stoked on that, and then probably realized, I'm sure his media department told him, hey, this is probably the biggest thing we've ever seen ever. And then you're setting up a super fight or a fight, if it ever happens, of Nurmagomedov versus McGregor.
Dude, I would love to see that. I just feel like Conor wants no part of that. I don't know, and I'd be real curious to see what if Conor can box that dude up like nobody's business, and he's the one guy. That would be like, okay, here's a crazy as hell motherfucker who is just a killer in the cage, no matter what. I mean, that I would.
Well,
like
he always
to see
rises to the occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that knocks out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds or something ridiculous,
Yep.
and
Diaz.
goes up and fucking starches Eddie Alvarez to take his belt. So he gets a 45 champ, the 55 champ. Then he goes and fucking boxes Mayweather. Like, who does this? And then back to this last question, I think. If this is anybody but Conor McGregor, are they still in the UFC?
No.
This is John Jones.
Oh, I don't know. John Jones might get away with it.
I think there's a list of untouchables, and it's Conor McGregor, John Jones, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. It'd be funny if this was GSP. He fucking just loses his shit. Like, what the fuck? The aliens, they coming!
I think the Diaz brothers would be okay, too. It's kind of expected. But yeah. GSP would be weird. What if he just lost his shit and decided to go off thug?
I love it. That'd be great.
Yeah. I don't know. It gives us something to talk about. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. I think he's going to be back. I agree. End of the year. Slap on the wrist. They're going to say the big thing that they're going to harp in is, we stripped his title. What else do you want us to do? He knows he shouldn't do this again. Yes. And he's paid $2.5 million in fines, and he's had to settle $10 million in lawsuits. Those lawsuits are going to be huge. He's going to have a lot. But
probably.
It'll all work out. So then let's talk. Oh, the last thing I want to say about Dana White talking about the card. So those guys that didn't get their fights, Ariel Helwani tweeted this out. He said, Dana White says that everyone who lost out on a fight will be paid their show money. When asked if they were getting win and show, he said, we're not that rich.
Ah, okay.
What do you make of that? From a company that just sold for $4 billion. We're not that rich to pay people their win.
Smart man. Give them a little, not a lot. Keep them hungry, Matt.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like you got to give them more than that because they did all that. Well, Conor McGregor is going to make up that difference, so I wouldn't be too worried about that.
Yeah.
And then we get to, how did we even get here? Like UFC 223. So we kind of talked about supposed to be Tony Ferguson, right? He blows out his LCL. Then let's call it Max Holloway. Max Holloway said, fuck it, I come from Hawaii. 6 days notice. He flies like 23 hours to Brooklyn, doing his little weight cut. And then the New York State Athletic Commission doesn't like the way he looks. They just look at him. No doctors.
Not
they
medically
say,
cleared to fight.
Right. But no doctors made that ruling. So then he's out of the fight. And then your options are Paul Felder, Al Iaquinta, or Anthony Pettis. Can't come to terms with Anthony Pettis with the money. The rumor was you couldn't do the fight with Paul Felder because he wasn't ranked, according to the commission. And then you get Al Iaquinta. Bingo.
I'm fine with that. Whatever.
I still have issue with that. You can't have the belts mean fucking nothing, and you guys are the WWE now. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I feel like the belt went to the right person, though.
Yeah, but he didn't beat anybody. That's the problem. You just gave him the belt. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, I think, and then you stripped, why did they strip Ferguson of the belt?
Because he tripped over a wire?
Yeah, doing the UFC's media obligations.
That's right. He's a dumbass.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem was they said he was wearing the sunglasses inside. So it's kind of his own fault. So that's why they fucking did that. So.
Jeez.
All right, you want to talk about let's talk about the main events then. So we had Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Al Iaquinta. I just say I don't like Nurmagomedov's style because he can stand with people, but then if he doesn't like it, he can just take you down. And he did that pretty much whenever he wanted, except I think it was the third and fourth round where he couldn't get the takedown, or actually I don't think he couldn't get it. He didn't want to get it. Yeah. Because in the interview afterwards, he was talking, I just wanted to get 5 rounds in.
Yeah.
I want to get some work in and see what the championship rounds are because I haven't fought, in round 4 and 5. So,
just toying with him, huh?
Yeah. I think he could have finished him, but he just wanted to get the experience.
Yeah.
And there was one point where they go over to Matt Serra, like in the corner. You know how they put the corner cam up? And
yes, sir.
Matt Serra says, I want him to decapitate him with that fucking head kick. And like all the commentators are dying. Like, oh, shit. Like, hey, this happens. That's what happens when you put. There were a lot of fucks in this pay-per-view. It was very good.
Sarah likes to swear, obviously. We know this.
Yeah, all the time. And then, I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with Nurmagomedov, but again, I think it was him just wanting to pace himself out. And he said his coaches were kind of pissed off. The game plan was to wrestle fuck.
Well, which would have worked.
Yeah, I mean, you can wrestle fuck pretty much everybody, but who wants to watch that? That's the thing. I don't want to see that, so please stop the wrestle fucking.
Yeah.
Yes, you can take everybody down. Yes, you can pound them, but I got some people like that. Not this guy. I'm sorry. So
okay.
He calls out GSP.
Ooh.
Afterwards.
I would like to see that.
I'll be open to that, but he said he won't do it at 170, so he's going to try to force GSP to come down to 55, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to fight GSP, I feel like you got to go up to 70.
Fight him where he had all his belt success. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And you already know he's problems, so just let him fight 170. And then what else is Dana White was saying? He'll never do that Khabib Ferguson fight again.
Why would he? It's been like 3 times canceled.
Or
five,
something like that.
7 times.
It's ridiculous. And I don't know, man. I think that's all I have for that fight. Take a drink.
Good. Should we talk news?
I want to talk about that other fight real quick.
You do? I'm fine with it. I did not watch the card. I had the food poisoning.
I
was dying.
Just the Rose Namajunas versus Joanna and Jacek. It's a Rose Namajunas show. She just fucking lit Joanna up again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why when I'm watching the broadcast, Joe Rogan's just drooling over Joanna's skills. Like, oh my God, she's the greatest kickboxer of all time. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But she's getting fucking lit up left and right by Rose. And Rose is using head movement left, right. And she's just getting out of the way, just flowing and just cracking her. And her left hook was working all night.
Yeah.
And I had it 4-1. Some other people were saying it was 3-2. It was closer than that. I'm like, no, it was pretty fucking one-sided fight, and Rose won again.
Well, I was reading that Rose said she didn't feel as lean and mean in this particular fight as she did previously. So I don't know if it was.
Well, it could be the bus incident.
I mean, emotional trauma.
Right. Like she needs everything like calm and dialed in and focused, and then you have all that fucking chaos by you, and now you got to try to get yourself centered within one day again while you're all struggling with a weight cut. You know, but after the fight, Joanna seemed to think she won. Really? Yeah. She's up like after round 1, after round 2, hands in the air. Think she did everything to win. Like what are you talking about? And why is your corner not telling her? Like, you're losing. Her nose got busted at some point. Her face was all busted up again. Nice. And somehow she thought she won on the judges' scorecard. Like, she wasn't sure what fight they were watching. Yeah. Like, man, I don't know. That wasn't even close. Like, you got lit up. And it's kind of tough because here's the problem with the immediate rematch. She can't fucking fight for the title again unless Rose loses. Right. You can't do that 3rd time's a charm. No point. So. I think I'm almost ready for news. The one last thing I want to ask you, like, it's kind of weird because now the only people at AKA, so you have Daniel Cormier, who the only reason he has his belt is kind of on a fluky deal because of John Jones, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have Nurmagomedov. Paper champ. Right. Nurmagomedov, who kind of only has his belt on a fluky deal because he didn't beat the champ. He just took a vacant belt. So is that the AKA way to get belts? Apparently. Fluky wins! Whatever they can do, they'll do it. I'm just saying. I know Nurmagomedov could probably get it if he fights some of the other guys, but you have to fight the other guys to prove you are the fucking champ. Right now, what is he? Paper champ. Paper champ. Okay. They're all paper champs. Well, they are. Are there any real champs left? I'm trying to think. Who's a real champ? Conor McGregor. Does he hold any belts at this point? Not anymore, but does he need one? He doesn't need one. He's the people's champ. He's the champ of the UFC. He's just got the golden belt. Oh, and then if we're gonna go to the news before you start, I have something that wasn't written down. Brock Lesnar is coming fucking back to UFC. Oh yeah. Dana White said it, and when they were doing this press conference, so they had all the fighters up on the stage. He's like, yeah, he's still under contract. He's gonna come back in. Someone asked him, would he fight the winner of Stipe versus fucking AKA fluky winner, Daniel Cormier? And Dana White said, yeah, he might. And Cormier's like, ah!
Yeah,
oh
right.
my god!
Oh my God,
They're both
Rafael.
counting up the dollars, like, I want a piece of that action.
Hell yeah, who doesn't want that?
Fuck, man.
It's like millions of dollars.
That's a tough fight for Brock. Cormier or Miocic, either one of those guys.
Really
Damn,
tough.
man.
Both good, strikers, the dynamic guys. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I still think it's John Jones. I think that's John Jones's fight.
Could be.
Depends when. All right, what do you got?
I've been itching. Okay, speaking of John Jones,
yes?
Have you seen Rumble Johnson and how huge he is? I showed you this earlier. He's a giant man. He's been heavy lifting. There's videos of him out there doing his thing, just powerlifting, doing his thing, just lat raises, whatever you want to call them, just muscling.
Yeah, side
up.
raises. I was doing those today. I doubt I was doing them with anything close to those kind of weights.
I mean, he's huge. Is he gonna be able to hold his hands up to his chin because his arms are so fucking big? I don't know, but he's gigantic.
Well, he doesn't have to be in any testing pools right now, does he?
No.
Well,
it's getting huge, which I think is pretty cool.
For the guy who used to fight at 170, I love it. I love this. And him at heavyweight that's a motherfucker. I would love to see him at heavyweight in the UFC. And I think he's itching to come back, right?
Maybe that's why he's getting so huge, because he wants to go to heavyweight. He's got the Frank Mir
approach.
approach.
Remember, he fought a handful of people. He fucking jacked up Arlovsky.
He did. Broke
his jaw.
Yeah, bad too.
Yeah.
That's not good for Arlovsky.
No. What else you got?
Well, the other news story I have is Husamar Palhares taking a beating from Aliaskhab Kizriev. I don't know how to say his name, but basically, this man finished Palhares pretty solid. I was worried for his safety a few times in this fight.
Yeah, it looks like he's
got the leg.
And he's spinning out of it.
But he's got like the Alan Belcher approach. He's like, take my leg, fuck you. I've been practicing.
Yeah.
So I wonder, my question to you is it possible Palhares has lost? It's like Anderson Silva when he got the leg broken. It was like the scariness is gone. Like he's not respecting this at all. Like I don't understand. I mean, I'm terrified.
If you're fighting him, I feel like the only thing you need to do is just train, like anything involving your leg or your heel.
And you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's got no other game plan. It's either I get that or I'm fucked. You know, you've seen that in some of the fights with him too, where if someone got out of it, it just broke him mentally.
Yeah.
I know he's knocked out some people, but
he has. He got knocked out cold in this. So
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty shocking to me that. From a guy who's, I mean, that's just, whenever he grabs somebody's leg, I worry. I feel like one of these days he's just going to rip it off. But apparently, he's been slipping. So, I don't know. That's my news. What you got, man?
Well, we got Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje going down this week. I forgot this fight was happening, but that's the only fight I think worth watching on this card that's coming up.
Is it a Thursday night card or something?
No, I think it's this next weekend, but... Okay. I forgot where it's happening. I think in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona.
Nice.
So we got that one. When we had Rafael dos Anjos and Colby Covington, their fight got moved. It was supposed to happen in Brazil. I believe it got moved to the fucking Chicago card. And when they had the press conference, Rafael dos Anjos was wearing a fucking boomerang on his shirt.
Oh, nice.
Kind of looks like a BWC.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Uh-huh. BWC. Also known as a big white cock.
Thank you.
Thank you. Instead of a big white cock. It's like, what is he
It's very, it's like a unicorn.
Okay.
Mythical beast.
Giant white cock.
That's right.
Okay.
And we finally had some word on Ben Rothwell from Ariel Wani. He said, meanwhile, USADA just announced Ben Rothwell has accepted a 2-year sanction for a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy after testing positive for the presence of an anabolic androgenic steroid of exogenous origin following 2 out of competition tests last year. So I don't know how far back that's gonna fucking go retro too, but we haven't seen him in forever. I kept asking,
he'll fight tomorrow.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I had Cris Cyborg tweet this one out. She says, if you are a female in the UFC and haven't signed the Project Spearhead authorization cards, Leslie Smith is asking.
What is
My
that?
question is why? So that's to form a union.
Oh.
So now we've had the first UFC champion to publicly support the union and say that they've actually signed the card.
Ooh.
And the other thing is Iaquinta is another person that's part of this unionization effort, and he's the treasurer and secretary.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So
that's crazy.
It'll be interesting to see if some more fighters jump in because of the Cyborg, because you need champions to step up and say, hey, I'm doing this, so we can do this, so we don't get fucked.
I agree.
Like, good sign. What other short ones we have? Matt Brown out of his UFC on Fox 21 or 29 bout with Carlos Condit for a blown ACL. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, that's tough. He's older too. That's gonna be a hard recovery.
Yeah, especially when you're like on that tail end. You want to be. He's probably at 1 or 2 and done.
Yep.
And then you see Joe Rogan had that punching machine in his place. He, Francis Ngannou kicked it, and I want to say he punched it, and he punched it at 129,000 units, whatever that measures at. And then Joe Rogan kicked it. He kicked it at 155 or something thousand units. Man. Like, oh my God.
That guy's a mule, dude. He kicks like.
But the thing is, too, like, think about that punch is almost as hard as Joe kicks. It's like just his kick is a little bit harder. So
yeah.
Man, that's a lot of power being generated by both guys.
It is.
It's crazy. He's fucking 50 years old, right?
Plus, he's like 5'5".
Hey, 50, and he's kicking it that hard. That's
insane.
awesome.
Yep.
And then I had some Ronda Rousey thing, but I think I'm just skip
Fuck
it.
all that.
Just know that she was doing all these interviews and wasn't quite nice to all the ESPN people when they asked her about MMA. She's just being real cunty, but I think that's par for the course. Yep. So let's do some ass nuts. So MMA Junkie posed this question. He said, is Max Holloway the greatest Hawaiian fighter if he beats Khabib on 6 days' notice?
I would say yes.
Yeah, I'd agree. I was expecting a little pushback from BJ Penn.
Nah. No, he would have to be if he does that.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive because I thought he was just recovering from a broken foot or something, and like, man, I'd like to see that fight. It was going to be a rough night for Holloway. He was going to get roughed up.
It's only a broken foot. No big deal.
Donald J. Turd on Twitter asks, is Thug Rose the most elusive fighter in the octagon since Anderson Silva or Lyoto Machida? Who's more elusive right now?
Right now, definitely Rose.
Yeah, I think she was way more elusive. Anderson is very hittable, and Lyoto Machida is super hittable.
Yes.
So I'll agree with that assessment, fine, sir. Brandon Mason asks, would you rather see Conor versus Khabib or Ferguson versus Khabib?
Conor.
And who do you think has a better chance to beat him?
Ferguson.
Yeah. I think I agree with both those statements because Ferguson's going to be put right in his wheelhouse, and that's the thing I was thinking. How do you beat Khabib, right?
Pressure, I would say, probably.
Well, he's the pressure fighter, but I think you got to work the body on that fucker because Iaquinta landed some pretty decent shots, and he fights chin up, and I think Rogan was pointing that at Nurmagomedov. But I think you got to work the body. I think you got to play the long game, and maybe some low calf kicks too. But it's like anytime he got his hands on Iaquinta, that fucker's going down.
Yeah.
And that happens to pretty much everyone.
Yep.
You get your hands on him. That's it. Jaron Christensen asked, Dana said he'd like to have the winner of Miocic versus Cormier fight Lesnar. Wouldn't the UFC be better served giving Brock some tune-up fights like most fighters?
No, man. He doesn't need tune-ups. He needs the big money.
Yeah.
He's a prize fighter. He doesn't care about tune-ups.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about the top guys in the sport. There are no tune-up fights anymore. It's like the John Jones when he comes back.
Right into the
you're going right to the title.
That's it.
There are no other options.
Nope.
And yeah, that's a weird one. Oh, yeah, because Cormier is going to relinquish that belt. And then you'll have probably Rockhold versus Gustafsson. That's my bet for the 205 belt.
Yeah.
Because you can't have him come back and fight fucking Cormier again, can you?
No.
I mean, he's beat him twice.
I don't want to see that.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Nobody wants that. Follow-up from Jaron. Do you think the UFC will ever discount pay-per-view prices because of fucked up fight cards like UFC 223?
No.
No, they'll probably raise them because it's so fucked up. These $65 you're accustomed to, it's $73.50 this time.
Yes.
And then Rodrigo Machado will close it out. It's time. # Nuts Roll, # Matt Rape Train, # Ingo Sugar Daddy. Would you rather watch a Jon Fitch versus Jake Shields fight with Brian Stan and Kenny Florian on commentary?
Whoa.
Or an old man building a kayak with It's Fedor Guy and a super high Joey Diaz on commentary?
That's easy. The second one, come on.
Exactly.
Way more entertaining.
Yeah. You must delete 2 of them from history along with all their fights. Anthony Pettis, Conor McGregor, Donald Cerrone, or Nate Diaz.
2 of them?
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis is
gone
for sure.
100%.
Ooh, the other one's
It's a tough call.
You can't.
Connor's
you can't
stand.
delete Conor or Nate. I don't think.
No, I agree. You gotta get rid of Donald, unfortunately.
As much as I love him, he hasn't had the most memorable fights ever.
No, it's who is polarized more, right? Yeah. Would you rather receive the worst blowjob of all time by Cat Zigano or deliver the best anal of all time to Bethe Correia?
I would take the worst blowjob, please.
Oh, I'm delivering.
That's too much. She's like manly. I can't do it.
No, she's built right.
Okay.
From the waist down.
All right. No thanks.
All right. Fuck, Marry, Kill, X-Men Comics Edition number 2.
Oh.
So I'm going to give you, there's a couple of actresses that have played both, so I'm going to pull up the legitimate ones. There's 2 different movies. So we start with Jean Grey. So there's this one, which is pretty good. This is a poor picture, but best I can find. And then that chick also played her.
Ooh.
The one from Game of Thrones. Okay. Pocket those. And you have Mystique, which was Jennifer Lawrence.
Nice.
Pictured here. And then Rebecca Romaine.
I like the, yeah.
Yep.
Very nice.
And then you have Psylocke, who I don't know who this is. I almost kind of bait you into killing her by my picture, but you probably
like
take
that.
her.
I'm gonna go with fuck her.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and kill. Does she have to stay blue or can?
No, she can go human form.
Okay. We're gonna kill one the first set. I know it's a tough one, and we're gonna marry the blue. I like girls who are blue.
Yeah, Avatar. You're all in.
That's right.
All right, I am gonna fuck Jean Grey, marry Mystique, and then kill the Psylocke.
Okay.
You have any knowledge?
No, other than just
other than
just watch your intake of food because you might have.
You might shit your pants at work. Hey, at least you didn't do that. I've done that.
I thought, that's my one saving grace. I was like, I have to get to the bathroom. It's because I am not shitting my pants at my desk. That's not going to happen.
Hey,
no.
I told you that.
You did.
Packed up my shit and went home. I'm like, my day is over. It was like fucking 10 a.m.
I shit
my pants at work.
It's
the worst.
Do you have any knowledge?
Yeah, I just, this, hopefully it'll play here. Oh, we're too loud, but I don't know what the fuck this is and if it's a legitimate sport or not.
Underground boxing?
Underwater boxing with...
Underwater boxing.
I would assume this
What if somebody gets KO'd? This doesn't sound very safe.
Well, you're not going to feel those punches at all.
And how do they...
They get air. People give them air.
How do they stay? And they have weights in their shoes?
I don't know. It looks like we're in Hawaii or something. Underwater, they're building a ring.
Different in Hawaii?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
The pulls a little harder.
Okay.
The lava flow twists you up.
Chaos, man. I don't know why anybody would want to do this.
I don't either, but it looks like that girl almost drowned. I didn't get enough air, but man, people will do anything, I guess. It looks more fake than anything.
Yeah.
And just something retarded. Underwater boxing.
Okay, like underwater basket weaving?
That might be more interesting than the underwater boxing. I've got nothing else.
Me either. That has been this week's edition of MMA Nuts. My name is Ingo Wild.
Who?
Ingo Weigel.
Okay. Aggrove, thanks for playing.